Su Chen immediately assumes his duties. To do so, he begins by changing into his captain's uniform. Su Chen doesn't just wear the uniform, he inhabits the rank. The same soldiers who were his enemies yesterday are now his subordinates, and they don't hesitate to compliment him. But there's no time for flattery. Leader Qin Man has issued a new mission, but before setting out on his mission, Su Chen sets the record straight. Good. First, let me introduce myself. My name is Su Chen. From now on, I'm your captain. Su Chen's leadership is clinical. After introducing himself, he makes it clear to his subordinates that he doesn't care who they are and that their names don't interest him. So he decides to give each of them a number as a name. This is a first. The three subordinates are in shock. They weren't expecting this at all. To fulfill his role as captain, Su Chen isn't content to rely solely on the men provided by Qin Man. He brings along a trusted member of his own group. He doesn't simply add a member of his group to his ranks. Instead, he promotes her above the others. He appoints Duan Ya as vice captain. Morning brings a false sense of peace to Liberty City. Near the residential neighborhood where the monster was killed, the ground itself appears scarred, and fragments of a red object linked to the monster are still visible. As part of their investigation, Yun and the cat girl head to the scene. The cat girl picks up a piece of red residue from the ground. According to her, this should be a bone spike from last night's monster. Yun is a little skeptical and asks her how she came to that conclusion. The answer is actually quite simple. As a beast folk, she is very sensitive to smells, and she is certain that what she holds between her fingernails still carries the scent of that monster. After hearing her explanation, Yun's response shows that there is some tension between the two girls. Shh, you make it sound so real. Hurry up and pack it away and bring it back. Maybe we'll discover something. Su Chen, that big pervert, may believe you, but I don't. As for the cat girl, it doesn't matter whether Yun believes her or not. But despite the bickering, they are a functioning unit, one that has caught the attention of the district's bottom feeders. Hey, am I seeing things? There are actually two cat girls here. These men see two defenseless girls and think they've hit the jackpot. Pleased with their find, they divided the spoils, one girl each. Both men can see the girl's beauty, but they don't sense their power. But that won't be long. Before they could get too close to the two girls, the cat girl jumps up in a flash and kicks one of the attackers with both feet. The cat girl's defense is as much a jab at Yun as it is at the thugs. She clears the threat, but makes sure her rival feels the impact. Sending the two men in Yun's direction seems to be a deliberate act, which irritates Yun. You damn cat. Just, you wait. But the cat girl shows no concern for Yun's frustration. On the contrary, she walks away without looking back. The two men thought they were dealing with two little beauties. They didn't expect to be hit. Bastard. That woman dared to kick me. Yun doesn't do subtle. Infuriated by the cat girl's trick and the thug's audacity, she unleashes her full power. The red glow of anger in her eyes is reflected in her shadow. To these men, she isn't a girl anymore. She is a literal god of destruction, and she's looking for a vent for her frustration. You two idiots die. The cat girl has walked away, ignoring the chaos behind her. She enters a more crowded sector of the district, the pharmacy department. The pharmacy isn't a place of healing. It's a place of business. The guard's violence is a message to the crowd. If you can't pay the price of the cure, you don't have the right to breathe. The guard's violence and words catch the cat girl's attention. A burly guard apron kicks a frail man in the stomach. As the victim collapses, spitting blood, the guard begins a brutal, one-sided beating. While the man is on the ground, the guard strikes him violently. No money and you still want to buy medicine? Do you think this is a charity? Brings back a massive, killing blow, but his fist never connects. A small, slender hand, covered in delicate fur and tipped with sharp claws, snaps shut around his wrist. The momentum of the blow is stopped instantly. The burly guard's arm is locked in place. He pulls with all his might, his muscles bulging, but the cat girl's hand doesn't budge an inch. Unable to move, the guard engages in conversation. You. Who are you? The cat girl doesn't answer his question. Instead, she confronts him with his own actions. The one who deserves to die is you, bullying the weak in broad daylight. With a simple flick of her wrist, she sends the guard flying across the street. He lands with a thud against the wall of a building across from Yun. The commotion has drawn out the management. A group of men is coming out of the pharmacy. Once outside, the first thing that catches their eye is the beast folk, the desperate people in lines suddenly scramble backward, creating a wide circle of empty space around the cat girl. One of the men, dressed differently from the others, steps forward. He doesn't look like a thug. He looks like a politician. He keeps his hands hidden behind his back. "I am the steward of the pharmacy department. May I ask what the beast folk's purpose is for sneaking into Liberty City?" Whispers of fear and confusion ripple through the audience. Where would beast folk even come from in Liberty City? Beast folk? I thought it was just cosplay. Yun sprints into the circle. She has returned to her normal height. In a moment of brilliant improvisation, she reaches up and rips off her own fake cat ear headband, showing she's human. "Sorry, that's just my pet. We're not here to cause trouble." The pharmacy manager is perplexed. Yun doesn't leave any time for questions. She starts playing the merchant. "Actually, we're here to make a deal." This adds yet another layer of confusion. "A deal? What could our pharmacy department possibly trade with you?" the pharmacy manager replies. Yun pulls out a tube filled with green liquid, then begins her speech. "Do you know why I can make the beast folk my pet? It's all thanks to this secret formula that can control beast folk. You understand what it means to be able to control the beast folk, don't you?" After seeing the green liquid, the cat girl wonders if it's really what she thinks it is. Yun uncorks the vial and splashes entire contents onto the cat girl. The cat girl flinches, her body beginning to tremble violently as the green liquid sizzles against her fur. The manager stands frozen, his mouth hanging open in shock. Yun's demonstration was a huge hit. The manager can't believe how quickly it took effect. No way. It really can control beast folk. The manager can already see the benefits if he manages to get his hands on the formula. Maybe it's some new mutated substance. If we can get our hands on that formula, it'll be a huge achievement. With the manager distracted by greed, Yun digs for the truth. Her expression hardens. She turns away from the manager and looks down at the beaten man on the ground. "Hey, what are you doing here? Why are you buying medicine?" she asks him. The man's confession reveals another secret. Anyone who eats Liberty City's food has to regularly buy medicine here. Otherwise, they won't be able to relieve themselves. But recently, many people at the mine have died mysteriously. The man doesn't dare go to work and hasn't had money to buy medicine for days. Yun's expression changes as she repeats the word. "The mine? Somewhere in a certain mine." Speaking of the mine, Su Chen's first mission takes him straight there. "Captain, the mission target is that very mine. Usually, the mines are a chaotic hive of activity, but today they are as silent as a tomb." Su Chen's first day as captain leads him directly in this desolate industrial area of Liberty City. When they arrived, they were quite surprised to see no one there. Subordinate number 3 steps forward, looking nervous. He begins his report. "Reporting, Captain. An accident happened here earlier, and all the miners ran away. The security team reported it to us and asked us to help bring the escaped miners back." After hearing the report, Su Chen leads his team away from the main entrance toward a small clearing where 2 men are standing. This raises questions among his subordinates. "Captain, if we're not here to find miners, then why did we come here?" Su Chen calmly explains that they don't even know what the accident was, so of course they need to understand the situation first. As they approached the 2 men, Duan Ya remembered the man who brought them into the city and told them to meet him near the excavations. And this place seems to be the right spot. Feeling that something had happened in the area, Su Chen decided to help Old Xing out on his first day as captain. But Old Xing and his subordinate don't seem to see things the same way. They're even wondering what the enforcement team is doing on their turf. But what will surprise him even more is the new captain of the enforcement team, who is none other than Su Chen. Old Xin didn't expect this turn of events. He shifted his weight and asked Su Chen how he had become captain in just 1 day. Su Chen's reply was brief. "Just luck." Old Xing is a man who knows how the gears of Liberty City turn, but Su Chen's rise has stripped the gears entirely. To go from a smuggled drifter to an enforcement captain in 24 hours isn't luck. It's a miracle or a warning. Su Chen doesn't lose sight of his mission and gets straight to the point. "Heard your mine ran into trouble. I promised I'd come help." Old Xing's smile suddenly looks forced and nervous. "There's a bit of trouble inside the mine, and the miners all ran away. Right now, we're counting on the enforcement team to help bring them back as soon as possible." Old Xing responds, making it clear that his priority is to bring the miners back, not to investigate the accidents. This only fuels fuels Su Chen's suspicions. Old Xing didn't even have time to come up with an excuse before the mine itself provided the answer. A thunderous roar shakes the ground. It's a sound of pressurized energy, a sign of something far more dangerous than a simple mining accident. Old Xing's face changes, his brow furrowing in genuine dread. His reaction shows that he knows more than he lets on. Su Chen asks him to confirm that the loud noise, it was indeed coming from inside the mine. But before he could answer, Su Chen felt it before he saw it. From the darkness of the mine, he can feel a trace of ability energy coming from its depths. Su Chen plays his captain card. He offers help. Old brother, you helped us a lot yesterday. I can't just stand by, leave the problem inside mine to me. But old Xing doesn't seem to appreciate the help. He starts by minimizing the gravity of the situation, saying to Su Chen that it's actually nothing serious and they can handle it themselves, so no need to trouble the enforcement team captain personally. Old Xing's frantic attempts to gatekeep the mine only confirm Su Chen's suspicions. Su Chen doesn't waste any time. He takes Duan Ya with him and posts his men at the mine entrance, partly to guard his back, and they were ordered not to let anyone else in. As Su Chen and Duan Ya venture deeper into the darkness of the mine, old Xing's subordinate leans in, his voice a low, frantic whisper. Boss, we can't let outsiders see what's inside. Old Xing friendly, old brother persona evaporates instantly, replaced by a cold, murderous sneer. He told his subordinate not to worry, because Su Chen and his team brought this on themselves. Then he revealed what he had planned to do to Su Chen ever since they met. I don't know how he became a captain, but weren't we planning to send them in to die anyway? This isn't the first time old Xing has used mining accidents to get rid of someone. He watches the 3 enforcement soldiers guarding the entrance. He leans toward his subordinate and asks him to go make preparations. The subordinate's grin is jagged and cruel. He knows exactly what it means. Inside the mine, Su Chen and Duan Ya continue to venture deeper into the mine. After spending some time in the mine, Duan Ya asked Su Chen if he had noticed anything. But Su Chen isn't sure yet, so he suggests they keep looking around first. Duan Ya glances over her shoulder back toward the entrance they just left. She noticed that old Xing was acting, and with those people outside, she's a bit uneasy. She suggests that they should get out of here as soon as possible. Su Chen suddenly plants his foot, stopping mid-stride. What's that? From Su Chen's point of view, down the dark corridor, several silhouettes are visible. This does not match the information given to him. Duan Ya steps up beside Su Chen, narrowing her eyes at the figures. She is just as surprised to see people in the mine. What? Didn't they say operations stopped? But Duan Ya and Su Chen were in for yet another surprise. The miners are fully equipped with their helmets, lamps, and picks, but they aren't moving. Human bodies are reduced to mere scaffolding for something growing within them. Crystals burst forth from every orifice, but that's not all. According to Su Chen, they aren't completely dead. They still have a breath left. Barely able to speak, one of them asks Su Chen to put an end to his suffering, but Su Chen stays focused. He notices that the crystals seem to be growing out of their bodies. He reaches out and touches one of the crystals. Then, with clinical precision, he snaps a fragment free and holds it up, examining it against the darkness. These crystals actually contain ability energy. Although it's not as strong as the energy in crystal cores, if you could continuously obtain these crystals, it would still amount to an enormous source of power. While Su Chen and Duan Ya discover a massive bed of crystals in the mine, the truth behind these crystals is actually much darker, and as Duan Ye looked more closely, she saw this cruel reality. The more crystals there are, the more skeletons there are. She doesn't finish the sentence. She doesn't have to. The math is written in the bones and crystals at their feet, and it is monstrous. Back to pharmacy department. While Su Chen and Duan Ya witness the mine's horrific secret with their own eyes, Yun Yun hears about it directly from a miner, cultivated using living humans inside the mine. Yun Yun retorted. The man confirmed, then continued. At first, workers kept going missing, but the mine was dangerous and complex, so no one paid much attention. But later, crystals started growing around some workers' eyes and mouths. Soon, their entire bodies were covered in crystals. They couldn't move at all, just waiting to die underground. The crystals they mined were actually grown from human bodies. Everyone was terrified. No one wanted to end up like that, so everyone fled the mine. But the security team didn't care whether they lived or died. At the mine exit, a barrier barrier had been set up. Old Xing and his men were waiting for them and forced them to go back into the mine. They clearly knew everything, yet still forced them to continue mining. With no other choice, and at the risk of being shot at, they turned back. But when they went back into the mine, they saw something unexpected. They called it the demon. To them, that place was never a mine, it was a demon's nest. Speaking of demon nests, deep within the mine, Duan Ya stands beneath a jagged rock overhang. Above her, a massive dark monster clings to the ceiling. It is a giant insectoid creature, its head clustered with multiple red eyes, identical to the aberration from the residential district. Perhaps the demon mentioned by the man who was speaking to Yun Yun. Su Chen warns her of the danger above her. Duan Ya remains perfectly still, her expression calm and serene. At the absolute last microsecond, she steps back, dodging the monster's attack. As she moves, a cold blue mist begins to swirl violently around her body. Su Chen looks at her, a little surprised. "Is this the ability you got after absorbing the frost python's crystal core?" he asks. Since absorbing the frost python's crystal core, Duan Ye has been waiting for a moment to test her limits. She doesn't just dodge, she puts on armor formed by the condensation of frost. This is her new ability, Mystic Ice Armor. Standing before her is the mutated insect living in the mine that strongly resembles the humanoid monster that was killed in the residential neighborhood. Duan Ya looks back at Su Chen with newfound confidence. She asks him if she can handle this one. At first, Su Chen asked her what she planned to do. Duan Ya gets straight to the point. She wants to test her mystic ice armor on it. Besides, according to her, something like this isn't worth Su Chen's time. Su Chen sees the change in her. Duan Ya is no longer someone to be guarded. He steps into the shadows, allowing the ice-clad warrior to face the darkness alone. Duan Ya stands her ground. To the monster, she is prey. To her, the monster is a training dummy. She goads the creature, welcoming the test of her newly forged strength. The monster lets out a huge roar that echoes throughout the mine, then opens its mouth, filled with teeth as sharp as the spines on its back, and prepares to swallow Duan Ya. As the jaws close, Duan Ya snaps her left arm forward. A massive shield of crystalline ice erupts, shimmering with the same ancient energy as the frost python. The monster's teeth slam into the ice, sending out a spray of sparks and frost, but the shield doesn't even crack. While the monster is still locked onto her shield, Duan Ya extends her right hand. Shards of ice swirl and solidify into a razor-sharp longsword. She transitions perfectly from defense to offense, using the monster's own momentum against it. She steps back, pivoting with grace, and delivers a flurry of high-speed slashes. While Duan Ya is dominating her battle against the creature living in the mine, Su Chen walks through a literal forest of glowing crystals. With a flick of his wrist, he uses his dimensional space and begins to absorb the crystals around him. As he said, he can't come here for nothing, so he decides to take all the crystals in the mine. They might come in handy later. As Su Chen continued to collect the crystals around him, he witnessed something unexpected. The statue-like miners suddenly began to move. They turn on Su Chen, swinging their pickaxes at him. Su Chen stepped back and dodged the attack, quickly analyzes the situation, and wonders if the fact that the miners suddenly started moving and attacking him had anything to do with him collecting the crystals. But even if that were the case, it wouldn't make any difference. Su Chen closes the distance instantly. He places his palms against the crystal-crusted faces of the two nearest attackers. With a sharp, decisive surge of energy, he slams them into the cavern floor and puts an end to their suffering. But it's not over yet. Several miners rush toward him to attack him. In a blur of motion, all the attackers hurled through the air like ragdolls, their bodies pinned high against the walls and ceiling of the mine. Even though the victory was easy for Su Chen, their behavior remains puzzling nonetheless. They're basically living corpses, yet they can still ambush, as if someone or something were controlling them. Outside the mine, Old Xing and his subordinate are preparing to carry out their plan. To him, Su Chen and his team are going to die anyway, so there's no need to wait. The plan is diabolical, but very simple. Bury Su Chen and his team in the mine by blowing up the entrance, which is also the only exit. Loyalty can be a death sentence. Hearing the distant sounds of combat, the squad rushes toward the danger, unaware that the real threat is right behind them. A deafening explosion rips through the support beams behind the three subordinates. The trap is sprung. The entrance is erased. The squad is caught in the impact zone. The ceiling is crushing them under its weight. Number 3 looks up, his eyes wide with horror, as the exit vanishes behind a wall of falling debris. Following the tremor of the explosion, a massive fissure splits the ceiling. Meanwhile, Duan Ya has defeated the giant insect. With one foot planted on it, she hears the sound of an explosion, along with debris from the ceiling falling on her. From the darkness above, a new horror descends. Unlike the previous insect, this creature is fleshy and serpentine, without sharp teeth and an eye deep within the throat. Duan Ya senses danger, and this time, unlike the previous monster, it's much more powerful. The monster closes its mouth as if it were sucking, letting out slimy bubbles and revealing only its teeth. Instead of biting, it erupts with a high-pressure stream of viscous, translucent liquid. Duan Ya snaps her mystic ice shield into place, but the fluid doesn't splash off. It clings, bubbling and hardening instantly into jagged, heavy crystals. Duan Ya wasn't ready. First a viscous, disgusting liquid, and now it's all turning into crystals. Under the heavy weight of the crystals that had formed on her shield, she let it fall. She quickly realizes that if that stuff lands on her, she's done for. But her concern isn't limited to herself. She's worried about Su Chen, who is even deeper inside the mine. She decides to act as bait to lure the monster outside. Duan runs toward the exit, shouting to lure the monster. The monster, having taken the bait, begins to chase her as she gets closer and closer to the exit. Although her calculations told her she was almost at the exit, she was caught off guard when she saw the state of the exit, because it wasn't an exit anymore. It had become a dead end. Su Chen reaches the deepest point of the mine. The path stops here, but the mystery is only beginning to unravel. After collecting all the crystals from the mine, he realizes that there aren't as many crystals in the mine as he thought. He became intrigued by their origin. Su Chen suddenly freezes. He doesn't turn his head, but his eyes shift toward the tunnel behind him. A pile of debris from the earlier tremors begins to rattle. A sudden pressure in the air alerts Su Chen's honed senses. It's coming from the direction where he left Duan Ya. He doesn't hesitate. If the exit is compromised, they aren't just trapped with the monsters, they're buried with them. Duan Ya stands before the wall of jagged rocks and twisted metal that once was the exit. The tension reaches a breaking point as she realizes she is truly trapped between a mountain of stone and a mountain of flesh. The giant worm catches up to Duan Ya. Faced with the impossible, Duan Ya chooses the only path left: fight. The worm erupts with a massive volume of the blue crystallizing fluid. Duan Ya prepares her psychic energy to meet the monster's chemical spray head-on. Her defense becomes her prison. The creature's spit reacts with her own energy, hardening instantly into a spherical casket. The worm bites into the blue crystal ball. Then it simply slides it down its throat and begins to swallow Duan Ya whole while she is still trapped inside. Su Chen skids to a halt. The tunnel ahead, which should lead to the exit, is completely plugged, but it isn't blocked by rock or debris. He finds himself standing before the massive rear end of a creature so large it has become the tunnel itself. Su Chen delivers a sharp, testing kick to the fleshy mass, but nothing happens. Suddenly, the creature's rear orifices convulse. In the blink of an eye, sharp shards of crystal are hurled like shrapnel directly at Su Chen. Thanks to his lightning-fast reflexes, Su Chen manages to dodge the attack, even though he was standing right next to the worm. Su Chen looks at the ground where the projectiles landed. They aren't just rocks. He realizes that the thing is spewing out crystal ore, sparkling crystals, identical to the ones he had been collecting. All these events raise more questions than they answer. Su Chen doesn't have time for mysteries. He draws his dagger, and a violent surge of ability energy wraps around the blade in the form of crackling, hot lightning. He has a partner to find and an exit to reach, and right now this creature is blocking his way. The strike is surgical and devastating. Su Chen doesn't just wound the beast, he split it in half. Driven by pure agony and the instinct to flee, the creature begins to burrow upward at a frantic pace, smashing through the ceiling of the mine. Outside, old Xing and his subordinate are admiring their handiwork at the collapsed entrance. Suddenly, the ground beneath them begins to shake. The massive head of the mine worm erupts from the earth like a breaching whale. This makes no sense to them. Why would a creature that hates the light rush to the surface? But that's not the end of the surprises. As the worm reaches its full height above the ground, something follows its ascent and pierces through it, cutting it in two. Then a final vertical slash of lightning rips through its head from the inside out. The creature falls apart in two massive halves. Old Xing and his subordinate stand frozen. Their plan crumbles in a single heartbeat. They look at the bisected remains of the mine worm. They didn't expect to see Su Chen. In fact, they didn't expect to see him ever again, let alone that he would kill the mine worm. As the two halves of the worm collapse, a huge blue crystal sphere crashes to the ground near the two men. Terrified, Old Xing doesn't stop to investigate. He turns and bolts toward the city, his subordinate right on his heels. "Damn it. The mine worm is dead. Report this to the general immediately," he said to his subordinate. Su Chen lands beside the large blue sphere. His expression turns serious. He wonders how that mysterious ball got there. Suddenly, irregular cracks spread like a spider web across the surface of the crystal ball. The ball finally falls apart, revealing Duan Ya standing inside. She almost got swallowed earlier. Good thing Su Chen cuts that giant worm in half just in time. Su Chen turns his attention to the bisected carcass. Instead of blood and organs, the interior of the worm is filled with thousands of crystals. No wonder there were so few crystals in the mine. They were all inside this creature. Su Chen opens a dimensional space, and just like in the mine, he collects all the crystals. At the collapsed entrance to the mine, the debris begins to move. Miraculously, the mountain didn't take everyone. Number 3 claws his way back to the world of the living. Su Chen stands over the survivor. He demands to know why his orders were disregarded. Number 3 is not sure what happened. It must have been the mine workers. They blew up the entrance earlier. He reports to Su Chen. He knows where these people are, and he's ready to take his captain there. Back at the pharmacy department, the manager is holding a glass tube filled with the green liquid Yun Yun provided. It's supposed to be the drug that controls beast folks. The manager turns to Yun Yun. He offers a golden cage. "Little girl, since you have a formula like this, why not join our pharmacy department? Stay with me as my deputy. No one will dare mess with you." Yun Yun ignores the manager entirely, her silence a sharp rejection of his greed. She turns to the injured mine worker, placing a small, heavy bag of medicine and supplies into his shaking hands. The man thanked her shyly but warmly. The cat girl steps forward and asks the mine worker, "Are there other beast folk in Liberty City?" The man replies hesitantly, "Yes, there are." Without asking permission, she takes the man and orders him to lead her to where the other beast folks are. As the girls walk away, the manager watches them with a dark, greedy smile. "Such an important formula. A little girl like you probably can't handle it alone." The pharmacy manager realizes that Yun Yun's concoction is far superior to what the city currently uses to keep the beast folk in line. He makes no secret of his greed or his avarice. He seems to be planning to attack Yun Yun by using the green liquid on a beast folk. He brought in a huge chained beast folk. He pours some of the green liquid into his hand and tries to make the beast folk swallow it, but the huge beast folks swallow him instead. As the beast folk opened its mouth wide to swallow the manager whole, the others stood frozen with fear. According to the mine worker, there are only a small number of beast folk in Liberty City. They are not seen as citizens. In the hierarchy, they rank very low. A minority of them live among ordinary people at the bottom of Liberty City, and the rest face life and death battles every day. Yun Yun, the cat girl, and the mine worker come to an abrupt halt. The alley leads onto a huge circular square dominated by an imposing stone structure. It is a brutalist interpretation of the Colosseum. The arena, a place where the lives of the marginalized are traded for the screams of the masses, and the entertainment for the nobility among the spectators, is a young man who appears to be a member of the city's nobility. As well as being dressed in luxurious attire, he also wears a baby bib and has a baby pacifier in his mouth, despite his age. He leans back in his chair, seemingly uninterested, even bored by the fight. But it isn't the fight itself that doesn't interest him. As he said, he's sick of watching male beast folk fight. He wants to see female beast folk. According to him, female beast folk killing each other, that's what really gets the crowd going. The arena would be packed. In the arena, mercy is a luxury no one can afford. The two male beast folk are preparing to fight to the death. After the first exchange of blows, the outcome of the fight already seems sealed. The gray-haired beast folk announces his opponent's defeat. His opponent isn't begging for mercy. In fact, he tells him to cut the crap and to end the fight if he has the guts. The gray-haired beast folk tells him not to blame him for being merciless, as his opponent had requested. Wishing his opponent to rest in peace and assuring him that he would remember his name, the gray-haired beast folk raised his sword to deliver the fatal blow. The sword swings down with bone-crushing force, but it never hits its target. A blur of movement intercepts the strike. Both opponents are both shocked and disturbed. Standing between the combatants is the cat girl. She is the one who broke the sword by blocking the attack. The two fighters aren't shocked by his intervention itself, but by his presence in a place where people of their kind are treated like dirt. The cat girl asks them calmly, "You're both beast folks, so why are you killing each other?" The bear beast folk replies that in the arena, life and death are left to fate, and this isn't something she can interfere with. But the cat girl doesn't see fate. She sees chains. As far as she's concerned, all she sees is two fools killing each other because of rules made by humans. As beast folk, why should they be tools for their entertainment? She asks them directly. With the rage of a revolution determined to overturn the established order, she urges them to rise up and take their weapons and fight their way out with her if they still have any pride. The fighters seem more afraid of the rules than they are of death. From their point of view, the cat girl doesn't realize what she's saying. He advised her to leave before it's too late, while the cat girl is trying to shatter the status quo. His sudden appearance in the arena did not go unnoticed, and her interference in the battle is not without consequences. The young nobleman, disturbingly childish despite his age, spots the cat girl. He gets excited. She looks pretty good to him, and he is already looking forward to the fun of playing with her like an object. He turns to the man beside him, a figure radiating cold authority, wearing a golden crown and possessing piercing red eyes. "Father, I want that female beast folk," he asked his father, just like a child asking his father for a toy. The man replies to him, "Oh, you like her, son? Then let them capture her for you." The young master is overjoyed as he flatters his father, just as a spoilt child would whose every whim has been indulged. The father orders the cart girl to be captured and brought to the young master's room. The bear beast folk covered in fur is seized by panic as the men enter the arena to capture the cat girl. He is not the only one who realizes the gravity of the situation. Even in the heart of despair, brotherhood remains. The men who were just trying to kill each other now find a common cause, saving the girl who reminded them of their pride. The cat girl doesn't run. The situation is the same, but the vision is different. For her, it is the two warriors who do not understand. They're trying to protect her, but she's the one who's there to save them. She isn't looking for an exit. She doesn't just say it. She takes action. She launches an attack on the men who came to capture her. Neither of the two fighters had expected this. They had planned to sacrifice themselves to give her a chance to escape. As the cat girl engages the guards, a shadow falls over the two male beast folk. A colossus wearing a faceless helmet towers over them. He grabs the bear and the gray-haired beast folk, slamming them into the ground like broken dolls. The cat girl's momentum breaks. She turns her head in shock as the colossus crushes her allies into the ground. In that split second of distraction, the capture units strike. They slam heavy. Metal clamps around her waist. The jagged jaws of the batons prevent him from moving. Yun stands in the shadows of the entrance. She listens to the cruel murmurs of the crowd about the fate of the women the young master sets his sights on. According to them, they never end well. She lets out a long, weary sigh as she steps into the arena. This time, it's not her who is causing trouble, but she can't ignore the cat girl because she was brought back by Su Chen. To stop the outsider from attacking the cat girl, she steps in. Taking on her giant form, she unleashes her aura all around her. While this is going on, the young master is enjoying the capture of the cat girl. "Do you even know where you are? No matter how fierce the beast, none can escape this place, let alone you," he said to the cat girl. Suddenly, something startles the young master. He is almost paralyzed with fear. The young master's trembling fear takes a dark, twisted turn as he gazes at the radiant, towering figure of Yun. The terror in his eyes is replaced by an even more intense, sickening greed. The spectacle in the arena takes a bizarre and unsettling turn. Yun's massive display of power, intended to intimidate the oppressors, has backfired. The crowd, which was initially terrified, is thrilled to see her fight. It's the greatest show they have seen in decades. High in the VIP box, the young master loses all semblance of restraint. moment. Yun Yun is no longer a threat. She is a prize. Her size and her beauty fuel the twisted desires of the young master. Without saying a word to his father, he walks toward the edge of the stands. Obsessed by Yun Yun's huge size, he throws himself at her. The young master lands, by an incredible stroke of luck, on Yun Yun's enormous calf. But he doesn't stop there. He climbs on her all the way up to her massive thighs. From Yun Yun's perspective, she looks down past her waist and sees a tiny, frantic little man scrambling up her leg like an insect. Yun Yun brings her hand down in a massive, sweeping arc, intending to crush the young master against her own thigh. The impact creates a shockwave around the area, but when she looks at her hands, they're empty. She misses. The young master dodged with incredible agility. He had already climbed up to waist height. He uses the loose part of Yun Yun's top to slip between her legs. "Where are you trying to crawl into?" Yun Yun screams, by placing her hands on her crotch to prevent the young master from reaching there. The young master gets stuck on the lower part of Yun Yun's hip. He wiggles his feet, begging to be let go. Even as she remains pinned by the huge clamp, the cat girl glares up at Yun Yun. She calls her an idiot and asks her what she's doing. Yun Yun tells her that she's just trying to help her, but the cat girl doesn't see a helper. From her point of view, Yun Yun is just putting on a show, and as she said, she doesn't need her help. Her words are backed up by her actions. The cat girl uses her air wall ability to attack the enemies holding her down, as well as those surrounding her. After shattering the capture formation, she frees her fallen brothers. The two male beast folk watched, unable to understand what was happening, as the giant holding them back was pushed away. No sooner had they been released than their freedom was, once again, under threat. The remaining guards try to rally, rushing the disoriented bear and gray-hair beast folk. But before they can reach them, they are repelled by the cat girl's air wall ability. The two male beast folk stand in the center of the chaos, in a defensive position. Suddenly, their expressions changed. They were completely stunned when they realized that all the guards had been magically pushed away. Yun Yun is annoyed by the cat girl's attitude. She is irritated by her ingratitude, not to mention the parasitic enemy. But she finally managed to catch the young master. She held him up like a wriggling insect. She didn't put him down gently. She sent him flying back where he came from, screaming through the air. The young master flails through the air, heading straight for the VIP balcony, crying to his father to save him. The young master doesn't crash. It's as if something is holding him up in the air. With a cold, terrifying but calm voice, his father told him not to panic. Once they've been captured, he'll be able to play with them, talking about Yun Yun and the cat girl. Suddenly, some people approached the young master's father. It's old Xing and his subordinate. They're addressing the man as a general, and they've come to make a report. The general looks at them with a stern, piercing gaze. They're not supposed to be here. They're supposed to be at the mine, guarding it. But old Xing rushes forward and bows before the general, his voice trembling. He begins by apologizing before telling him that the mine has been destroyed. The general's eyes erupt into a violent, glowing red. The air in the balcony crackles with a murderous intent. "What did you say?" the general yelled before calling them useless fools who couldn't even guard a mine. The general shows no mercy. In a flash of red light, old Xing's subordinate's torso and head exploded on the spot. Old Xing witnesses the execution, completely paralyzed, just as the general's fury peaks. At the entrance, the dark archway of the arena entrance frames two silhouettes. As they step into the light, it reveals Su Chen and Duan Ya. The arena seems quite lively, Su Chen noticed. Duan Ye wonders if they aren't arriving a little late. "Hope we didn't miss anything interesting," said Su Chen as he entered the arena. Yun Yun, still in her towering form, looks down toward the entrance when she notices Su Chen's arrival. In the blink of an eye, Su Chen spots the members of his team. The team is back together, but to the young master, Su Chen is the ultimate insult. While he got thrown out like a worthless insect, he is surrounded by beautiful women, including the toys he desires. His face contorts into a mask of childish, jealous rage. The spoiled young master no longer wants to play. He wants to destroy. "Father, I want him dead," he said, pointing at Su Chen. The general acts cautiously and asks his son to calm down. He recognizes the uniform Su Chen is wearing, so he changes his approach and tries to play by the rules. "Perfect timing, law enforcement. These people are causing trouble in the arena. Arrest them at once." silence. The general ordered Su Chen. Sorry, law enforcement follows principles, and I don't see anyone causing trouble, Su Chen replied as he walked toward the cat girl. The general's attempt to use the law as a weapon to maintain control failed. Yun takes this opportunity to make it clear to the general which side Su Chen is on. You country bumpkin, trying to have us arrested. Do you even know whose man he is? She said as she brought her foot down to crush the general. Just before impact, a shockwave of jagged energy erupts from the general's body. The general's power is the ultimate checkmate. He doesn't fight abilities. He erases them with a single command. Ability. Suppressor. Level 1. As the shockwave energy washes over Yun, she loses her balance. Her massive form begins to shrink back to its original size. She feels her ability fading away without understanding what is happening to her. Yun isn't the only one. Duan Ya's power is fading as well. Su Chen senses the imminent danger. He wonders if the general can truly neutralize others' abilities, as Su Chen and his team find themselves facing an opponent who seems to have a clear advantage. It is in this atmosphere of uncertainty that the general decided to stand up. His red aura bleeds into the air around him. A mere law enforcement captain, nothing but an ant. And you dare act so arrogantly in front of me, he said as he looked down at Su Chen with absolute murderous disdain.
While Yun was affected by the general's suppression, the entire arena suffered the same fate. Who is he? How can he suppress our abilities too? Asked Su Chen. The bear beast folk looks up at Su Chen, intrigued by his question. He can't believe that someone wearing the law enforcement uniform is ignorant of the monster ruling this sector. You're law enforcement and you don't know him. That's the arena boss, General Li Taotian. A general? Su Chen asked. The bear beast folk confirms the general's identity and provides some additional information about him. He's a level 5 human. Rumor says if he wants to, he can permanently strip someone of their powers. Su Chen narrows his eyes, his mind working through tactical possibilities. Since the bear beast folk seems to know more about the general, he asks him if there's a way to cancel the suppression. His reaction is gloomy and desperate. Unless your own strength is overwhelming, otherwise no one can. The gray-haired beast folk don't see it the same way as the bear beast folk. According to him, there might be a way, but it requires a massive amount of energy to break through the suppression. But that would require either a mutant fruit or a huge amount of crystal stones.
While Su Chen searches for a solution to the crisis they are facing,
Old Xing, now emboldened by the general's presence, stands at the edge of the VIP balcony. He points a trembling, hateful finger down at Su Chen. "It's them! General, they're the ones who destroyed the mine!" shouted Old Xing. Now that the culprit has been identified, the general's anger darkens the atmosphere around him. "So it was you. Looks like law enforcement has been reaching pretty far. Do you really think I wouldn't dare deal with you?" said the general as he stepped forward toward the arena. The general thrusts his hand forward and releases even more of his aura. "You dared destroy my mine. I'll show you what true suffering feels like." The general threatens Su Chen and his group, increases suppression from level 1 to level 2. The young master is happy and rejoices at his father's dominance, but he remains true to himself and his perverse desires. "Father, just don't let those girls die."
With their abilities suppressed by the level 1 under the level 2 of the General Li Taotian ability, they are now weaker than ordinary people. The situation is getting worse. Su Chen remains calm. His eyes ignite with a fierce yellow glow. He steps forward, shielding Duan Ya and the others. Suddenly, his arms become a blur of motion, thousands of punches per second, so fast they create a physical wall of air pressure. His team, who are behind him, don't understand his actions. They stare at him, wondering what he's doing. One thing is certain, he is not affected by the general's level 2 ability. The soldiers on the ground are the first to notice it. On the ground, not far from Su Chen and his group, they can clearly see the distinction between the impact of Su Chen's punches and the general's suppression aura.
Oh, interesting. Concentrating his power into his fist and forcefully creating an energy barrier. This is my first time seeing something like this. But with only level 4 strength, how long can you keep this up? The general wonders as he analyzes Su Chen's counterattack. The heavy atmosphere of the VIP box is pierced by two new presences, a man accompanied by a woman. Li Taotian, what exactly are you trying to do to my law enforcement people? If you want to bully my subordinates, you'd better ask whether I agree first, said the man. The faces of the two figures are revealed as they approach the general. The woman is Chin Man. She is accompanied by a man who appears to be just as important as Li Taotian. The two men stand face to face. Li Taotian's purple aura flares violently, but it is met by a surge of gold energy from Wang Qinghai. Wang Qinghai, you're really going to fall out with me over some insignificant captain? Asked General Li Taotian. This kid is a valuable talent to my law enforcement team. Of course I'm protecting him, replies Wang Qinghai.
The two auras clash violently, creating a heavy atmosphere that hangs over the entire arena. The ability suppression lifts, but it is replaced by an overwhelming aura. Duan Ya asks, who is the man standing up to the general? Because of their lack of knowledge about Liberty City's high-ranking officials, the beast folk begin to wonder if Su Chen and Duan Ya are really part of the law enforcement. What they don't know is that they've been in Liberty City for less than 48 hours, and it hasn't even been 24 hours since Su Chen became captain. Hey, are you two really in law enforcement? You don't even recognize your own boss, General Wang Qinghai? Wang Qinghai, based on some rumors, he and Li Taotian had bad blood privately for a long time, and both coveted each other's territory. Li Taotian and Wang Qinghai stand inches apart. The air between them is thick. Seeing how Wang Qinghai protects Su Chen, Li Taotian accuses him of deliberately sending his men to destroy his mine. Wang clarified that Su Chen had been assigned to investigate a murder that had taken place in the area. Li Taotian keeps talking about the mine as if it belonged to him, but since when has that been the case? Wang Qinghai reveals that, basically, he was the one who stole it from him. Li Taotian's eyes narrow. For him, things are clear. He is convinced that all of this was orchestrated by Qinghai for the sole purpose of taking the mine away from him. The tension between the two generals reaches its peak. Then suddenly, Li Taotian seems to come to his senses. He points out that if they both fight, they will both lose because no matter the outcome of their battle, one thing is certain: they will give their enemies an advantage. Behind this sudden return to reason, Li Taotian is hiding a devious plan. He has the home field advantage and the rules on his side, so he suggests making a bet. He glances toward the arena and smiles, already picturing himself as the winner, then makes his offer with confidence.
If you win, I'll hand over the mine just as you want. But if you lose, I'm taking a portion of law enforcement territory.
Wang Qinghai asks how he wanted them to bet without blinking. This was the opportunity Li Taotian had been waiting for, to be master of the game. He made this clear in a roundabout way by reminding them that this was his arena and that they must, of course, abide by the rules. And in the arena, there's only one rule: a one-on-one fight to the death. The prize are a mine's territories. The cost is a life. Even though he doesn't know Su Chen or what he's capable of, Wang Qinghai accepts the bet without hesitation. Li Taotian steps to the very edge of the railing. Below, Su Chen stands in the center of the pit, surrounded by Li Taotian's guards. You all heard that, right? As long as you can defeat one of my people, I'll let you all leave here, Li Taotian announced happily and confidently. Su Chen calmly and indifferently turns down the offer, and he's right because he has nothing to gain from this deal. It could even be the opposite. General Li Taotian's tone changes. He tries to pressure Su Chen, telling him to surrender if he's afraid of losing. But Su Chen refuses to be a pawn on a chessboard with nothing to gain. Unlike General Taotian, who wanted to use fear and humiliation to pressure Su Chen, General Wang Qinghai takes a different approach. He gives Su Chen a reason to accept accept the deal. He uses the hook, ability fruits. The general knows that Su Chen is looking for information on this matter. If he wins, he will provide reliable information. Beside him, Chin Man speaks with a mix of worry. General, their ability suppression hasn't been lifted yet, shouldn't we? The general cut Chin Man off in a cold and dismissive tone. He makes it clear to her that it doesn't matter. If they can't overcome even this much hardship, then they're not worthy of being law enforcement captains. Duan Ya has already weighed the pros and cons. If they can get information about ability fruit without having to search blindly all over Liberty City, even though they can't use their abilities for now, the risk is worth it. Yun is on the same page. As she herself says, it's just a fight. And since the apocalypse began, she has never feared anyone. Su Chen knows they aren't entirely wrong, but the reality is quite different. According to his analysis, the sudden appearance of 2 level 5 humans has made them feel a sense of crisis. As the saying goes, weaklings fear battle, while the strong welcome slaughter. Su Chen turns to the 2 generals and announces that he accepts the challenge. The female announcer leaps onto the podium.
Audience, thank you for waiting. Law enforcement squad versus arena fighters. The death match begins now.
The crowd, sensing the shift from talk to killing, erupts into a rhythmic, terrifying chant. They want and crave blood. Yun volunteers to start action. Su Chen doesn't see any problem with it. The announcer asks the 2 fighters to choose their weapons and enter the arena and prepare for a fight to the death. Yun faces the giant Colossus. Unlike her, he is armed, holding 2 axes, 1 in each hand. The Colossus is 5 times her size, but that doesn't faze her in the least. On the contrary, she's ready for the fight. The fight has just begun, but neither fighter has thrown a single punch. Just words. The Colossus looks down on Yun. Shorty, you're my opponent. You should let that guy come up instead. You're not even enough to get stuck in my teeth, the Colossus said to her. But to Yun, he's just a loud target who isn't worthy of making Su Chen fight. Outside the arena, news travels fast. For the first time in arena history, a level 4 human powerhouse is personally stepping into the arena to fight. The arena's operators are counting on capitalizing on this premiere. The ad campaign doesn't stop with the level 4 human. It also emphasizes that there is a stunning beauty from the law enforcement team challenging the Berserk Ripper one-on-one. And every match is a fight to the death. Every punch lands hard. Maximum bloodshed, not to mention creating a sense of urgency and limited availability to encourage people to buy tickets for the arena. The Liberty crowd reacts positively right away. No one wants to miss a level 4 human fight, let alone a beauty fighting the Ripper, an infamous monster known for being brutal and bloodthirsty. Countless powerhouses have died by its hands. He even eats gluttons outside the city, which is why he became a monster that only knows slaughter. But not everyone is focused solely on the fight. Some think it's a waste of a top-tier beauty. If only they could have some fun with her before the fight, dying afterward would still be worth it. While the arena's promotional machine is urging people to hurry to the arena so they don't miss this top-tier showdown, because if they do, they won't see another one like it anytime soon. Behind a brick wall near the arena entrance, the mine worker Yun saved peeks out. His face was pale with worry for them as the cheering crowd rushed past him toward the arena. At the arena, a woman approaches General Li Taochen. She bows slightly as she reports that they've already spread the news citywide. The information is out, and it'll soon spread across all of Liberty City, and many people are already rushing toward the arena. Everyone's going crazy over the event. For the general, this formula is perfect for capitalizing on the chaos. As he says, people at the bottom love watching strong people slaughter each other and engage in bloody gambles. The crueler it is, the more popular it becomes. As they say, one man's misfortune is another man's good fortune. Many might see this as a crisis, but not the 2 generals. Li Taotian is a born businessman. As Chin Man points out, even in the apocalypse, he's still playing the marketing game. Wang Qinghai also sees clearly in Li Taotian's game. He wants to use this opportunity to gather popularity and attract attention. But he isn't the only one benefiting from the situation. For Wang Qinghai, it's also an opportunity to observe the enemy and accurately gauge the arena's true strength. And it's also a test for Su Chen. If he wins, he'll be qualified to fight alongside the general. If he dies, it only proves he's too weak and has no right to gain a foothold in Liberty City, according to the general vision. action. Wang Qinghai hopes Su Chen won't disappoint him. But we all know Su Chen. We already know what's going to happen. Even though Qin Man holds Su Chen in high regard, the same cannot be said for the rest of his team. As far as she's concerned, the 3 women below will most likely die here. Once again chained up, the gray-haired beast folk approaches the cat girl to thank her for risking her life to save them. But this gratitude is followed by words that leave a taste of ashes. The gray-haired beast folk doesn't stop at thanks. What follows sounds like a farewell. He told her that they probably wouldn't make it out alive, and he only hopes that she and her team could all survive and break out of the arena. The cat girl turns away from her chained kin. Her fierce posture collapses and her shoulders tremble violently as she walks towards Su Chen. Her face flushes deeply with a mix of shame, fear, and overwhelming guilt. She blames herself for everything and feels guilty for being weak and unable to protect anything, and yet she stubbornly came to rescue her fellow beast folk and dragged everyone into danger. If everyone dies in this arena, before another word of despair can leave her lips, Su Chen steps forward. He catches her by the waist, pulling her firmly against him. His grip is unyielding, grounding her trembling form against his solid, calm presence. "What nonsense are you talking about?" Su Chen asks her. While Su Chen takes care of the cat girl, the chit-chat between the 2 fighters is finally over. The Berserk Ripper strikes first with a sharp vertical blow. Yun Yun dodged with ease by leaping backward. To a warrior, a weapon is mostly made of steel. That's one of the reasons the Ripper looks down on Yun Yun and mocks her, because, by his standards, she entered the arena empty-handed, asking her if she was there to die. As she says, "Who said she didn't have a weapon?" Just then, Yun Yun looks at him with a smile and takes out a capsule filled with green liquid. It is an enhancement serum that she has refined and improved upon many times. Without hesitation, she drives the needle straight into her forearm and injects all the green liquid. After the injection, a violent surge of energy erupts from Yun Yun's body. The Ripper's monstrous eyes widen in absolute disbelief as he feels the immense pressure of her hidden aura forcefully pushing back against General Li Taoxin's level 2 suppression. Even though the reaction is immediate for Yun Yun, it's not as effective as she'd like, but it's enough for her to deal with the Ripper. Up in the VIP boxes, unlike her analysis, Qin Man is surprised to see that Yun Yun has broken Li Taoxin's ability restriction just by using a serum. She's not the only one having second thoughts. General Wang Qinghai also admits that the women around Su Chen aren't ordinary either. On the arena floor, the cat girl, still held firmly against Su Chen's side, is also surprised by what Yun Yun has just done, wondering how she did it. Su Chen simply watches the scene. Unlike the others, he isn't surprised. This only confirms his hypothesis. External force really can break ability suppression. Now that his hypothesis has been confirmed, it's time to move on to the next step, starting by making sure that the cat girl stops worrying about others and focuses instead on her own upcoming fight. The cat girl's response makes it clear to Su Chen she doesn't have a solution to break through the restriction. Su Chen leans down slightly, his lips moving right beside her ear. Then, in a soft voice, he tells her that she is the most unreliable one, before offering to help her. As a captain, he does not offer empty sympathy and empty words, he offers solutions. Now he knows that as long as he uses his ability, he can break through the restriction. Although he doesn't have an ability fruit, he's collected quite a lot of crystal stones inside the giant bug in the mine. His plan is simple but must remain discreet. He must start by absorbing the crystals in his space, then concentrate the energy in his hand, then secretly transfer it into the cat girl's body through skin contact. Su Chen doesn't wait. He puts his plan into action. He pulls the cat girl flush against his torso, pressing her tightly against him. To the spectators, it looks like a final, desperate embrace between comrades. But where his palms press firmly against her back, a bright white light begins to radiate from his skin and flow directly into her body. The effects are immediate. The cat girl is overwhelmed by the energy transferred by Su Chen. While Su Chen helps the cat girl, the fight returns to the chatter. See that? If my ability wasn't restricted, trash like you wouldn't even deserve a second glance from me. I admit you've gotten stronger, but don't look down on me too much. From the very beginning, I haven't even used my true power. See this steel helmet on my head? It's not actually protecting my head. The Ripper suddenly lets go of his massive axes. He reaches up to the rusted iron rivets of his helmet. As he unscrewed the large bolts, a pungent, scorching steam escaped from the holes. Yun-Yun's expression changes as she watches what is happening before her. The helmet was not protective. It's been sealing something this whole time, sealing the power of the demon inside the Ripper. The Ripper shows his true form, where a human face should be. A writhing mass like an octopus with an eye on each tentacle. Like many others, Qinman was in shock, wondering if those were really tentacles, while General Wang Qinghai's analytical mind connects the pieces of a forgotten massacre. There was once a riot in the arena's glutton cage. Other than this Ripper, all the mutated gluttons were reduced to gnawed-up corpses. The young master leapt onto the edge of the stands, completely ignoring the horrific transformation. All he cares about is his prize. It's good that now the Ripper has decided to go all out, but to secure his prizes, the young master warns him not to damage the beauties. While the stadium's attention is entirely locked onto the grotesque spectacle of the transformed Ripper, the cat girl stands rigid against Su Chen's chest, absorbing the raw, powerful energy that Su Chen was transferring to her. Although she was completely overwhelmed, she didn't give up. After a while, she began to notice a change. Master is really helping me break through the restriction. With a red, sweaty face, the cat girl starts looking around her. She's afraid that her reactions will lead to a misunderstanding, but Su Chen brings her back to focus. She needs to concentrate and act natural, or people will notice. Time is a luxury they do not possess. Sensing that the manual transfer through her skin is taking too long and risking discovery, Su Chen leans in closely. He kisses the cat girl and transfers the energy directly into her mouth. Back in the center of the arena, Yun-Yun is starting to get fed up with the Ripper's non-stop yapping. "You should properly experience what it feels like to be torn apart in my jaws," said the Ripper, stepping forward to swallow Yun-Yun whole, with his mouth full of sharp teeth all around. "Stop trying to scare people. If you want to fight, then fight. Why so much nonsense?" Yun-Yun shouted at him as she moved with explosive, lightning speed. She closes the distance in a fraction of a second. True strength doesn't need a monologue. With a single, clean, straight punch, she strikes the center of the mass, shattering almost his entire upper body. The arena built a legend of flesh and terror, only to watch it crumble in a fraction of a second. After Yun-Yun's one shot, the crowd goes wild. My God, that was the Ripper, a notorious savage monster in Liberty City, and it got taken out with just one punch? This is way too ridiculous. It came in looking all imposing with a full arsenal of trump cards, only to get knocked out in one move. Just who is this girl? She's way too strong. This is a complete one-sided beatdown. So this so-called Ripper looked terrifying and intimidating, but its actual combat power is much weaker than I expected. Could it be that the enhancement serum is working? Have I really become completely stronger? From the heights of power, the calculus changes once again. As expected, not simple at all. Anyone who can stay by Su Chen's side is definitely no ordinary person. While the crowd roars over a broken monster, General Wang Qinghai watches from his box. Down below, Su Chen and the cat girl are still close together as the energy transfer concludes. Wang Qinghai's reactions are mixed. From his point of view, a life-and-death battle is raging over here, yet Su Chen's in quite the mood, casually chatting and flirting over there. In the neighboring box, the young master's face twists into a venomous, jealous scowl as he stares down at Su Chen. Why does this brat get to enjoy himself so much? Does he think he's the only one with women? The young master calls on the woman standing next to him to ease his ego. He sits down in here and asks the woman to give him a treat with her mouth. The young master doesn't even have time to enjoy his moment of pleasure before his father ruins it. The next fight is for him. The woman stands up and reassures the young master while encouraging him in his fight with a suspicious smile. "No need. You don't have to cheer for me. I can handle it myself," the young master replied nervously. The second fight has been announced. Duan Ya marches into the light, unpowered, her posture rigid and focused. Knowing the captain needs precious seconds to finish empowering their comrade, Duan decides to buy some time despite the suppression of her ability. The young master leaps down from the VIP balcony, his face twisted into an arrogant grin. "Luckily, my opponent is such a beauty. Let me play with you properly," said the young master as he jumped into the arena. But before his boots can even fully settle into the sand, Duan Duan Ya closes the distance with blinding speed. She pivots sharply on her heel and launches a fierce jump side kick that connects squarely with his face, sending a spray of blood and shattered teeth flying into the air. Duan Ye doesn't give the young master a chance to recover. She follows up with a rapid flurry of high kicks, but this time the young man dodged them without much trouble. Even in the heat of battle, the young master remains true to his wicked ways. Nice butt, and your kicks are beautiful too. What a top-tier beauty. Just as Duan Ya followed up with an axis kick, but the young master suddenly twists his limbs at an unnatural, sickening angle. His spine cracks as he drops to the sand, scrambling on all fours on his back like a giant, frantic spider. That's when he reveals that he's a level 4 human. His skin rapidly shifts to a sickly, mottled green. The monster pursues its target with relentless, manic speed, but Duan Ya won't go down without a fight. But he manages to bite through his clothes and doesn't hesitate to tear them off. From the sidelines, Yun Yun clenches her fists in absolute rage. Damn it, that bastard did that on purpose. After her clothes were torn off, Duan Ya took a step back, then abruptly halted her retreat. Arrogance blinded the young master to the true nature of his opponent. In his frantic rush to claim a prize, he completely walked straight into a masterclass of psychological warfare. As he walked straight into the trap set by Duan Ya, the young master threatened to tear all Duan Ya's clothes off and strip her naked and let Su Chen watch while he plays with her. This further angered Yun Yun. Ugly freak. Try touching her and see what happens. As the young master dives to catch Duan Ya pretends to be scared. Got you, you can't escape now. This figure is way too tempting. I can't hold back anymore. I'm taking you right now. As the creature brings its massive head close, Duan Ya swiftly reaches up, planting her palm firmly directly on his nose. Duan Ya unleashes the brain bugs on the young master. The pain is immediate. What the hell is this? Where did these bugs come from? Stop! Don't crawl into my brain. It hurts. Damn it. My head. It hurts so much. Stop. What's going on? I can't move anymore. Once again, Chin Man realizes she has misjudged the situation, so she deliberately endured and acted weak the whole time, just waiting for the moment your opponent got close and let their guard down. She's not the only one. Even Yun Yun is shocked to see that Duan Ya can control the brain bugs without using her power. That's when Su Chen explains that back on Mengxing Mountain, I hid them in the grass. After entering Liberty City, I've kept them hidden in my hair. Duan Ya is getting ready to end the fight. Lustful, arrogant trash like this is exactly what I hate the most. Eat his brain clean. Realizing his time had come, the young master shifts from a monster back into a desperate coward, screaming to buy seconds. He begged for mercy. In his desperation, he is ready to reveal the secret of the arena, and it didn't take long. He shouted loud and clear that the entire arena is actually a living experiment site. All the battles are recorded as data by the pharmacy department behind the scenes, used to research a special drug that enhances human abilities. He is not even General Li's biological son. He's just a level 1 human. His strength was all forcibly piled up through drugs. Because he got lucky and survived the side effects of the new medicine, Li Taotian wanted to use him to continue. High above, General Li Taotian watches him with a chilling, detached smile, completely unbothered by the treason. Even worse, now that they've a naturally developed level 4 human sample, he's ready to dispose of him. The female attendant standing beside General Li Taotian steps forward, raising a specialized chemical injection pistol. Before the young master can finish his sentence, the woman pulls the trigger, firing a pressurized dart directly into his skull. After the injection, the young master's head began to swell all over until it burst. The explosion releases a purple substance that doesn't look like blood, with a dark aura. Some of it splashes onto Duan Ya and spreads all over the arena. Before the purple fluid can reach Yun Yun, the cat girl steps forward. The investment pays off. Thanks to Su Chen, she uses her ability to block the substance. Yun Yun is out of danger, but her eyes quickly turn back to Duan Ya, who took the initial blast. But luckily, Su Chen took care of it. He moved without hesitation, securing his vanguard. She's fine, just unconscious. Then he turns his attention back to the epicenter of the mutation. The remains of the young master do not fall. He stands motionless, and the only thing human about him is his silhouette. Meanwhile, a dark aura continues to emanate from him. In the center of the arena, the dark aura continues continues to emanate from the young master. For now, all we know about it is what we see. It consumes everything it touches. Even Li Taotian himself doesn't know what it is. It was by asking the woman with green hair that he gained a better grasp of the situation. The woman reports to the general that's young Master Li's ability origin. The high-potency enhancement drug forcibly utilized all the ability origins inside his body. His overloaded ability energy instantly broke through his skin barrier and completely dissolved his outer flesh. But don't worry, General. These ability origins will soon dissipate completely into the air. Su Chen moved to a safe spot, his arms securely supporting the unconscious Duan Ya. In a cold but calm tone, he confronted General Li Tochin directly for interfering with the match behind the scenes. But the general did not plead guilty. On the contrary, the general doesn't deny his hand. He simply wraps it in the law. He claimed he had merely injected his contestant with a regulation-compliant enhancement drug. It was normal pre-match strengthening, fully within the rules. The arena rules are open to everyone. If Su Chen has the ability, he can use drugs too. Nobody's stopping him, so he should stop making excuses just because he can't afford to lose. Before the conflict can boil over into a direct clash between the factions, General Wang Qinghai steps forward. Enough, calm down. There's no point arguing endlessly at the arena. We'll decide the outcome according to the rules. At present, both main fighters have lost their combat capability. However, young Master Li is still standing, while Duan Ya has long since collapsed unconscious. According to arena rules, this round goes to Li Taotian. The scoreboard is balanced in blood, 1-1, as Qin Man points out. She also suggests that Su Chen focus on Duan Ya first, and as long as they win the next matches, they can still turn things around. Su Chen didn't say a word. He took Duan Ya back to his team, and as he walked toward them, Yun Yun ran towards Su Chen, worried about her sister. Despite her concern for Duan Ya, Yun Yun doesn't let herself get distracted. She pulls a secondary specialized syringe, the chamber filled with a recovery serum. This advanced medicine can quickly stabilize her injuries. No time to waste, she presses the automated needle smoothly against Duan Ya's forearm, delivering the stabilization serum directly into her bloodstream. In the center of the ring, the unstable, dark silhouette of the young master trembles violently. His eyes are bright red, steam is billowing from his mouth, and what's most intriguing is his plea for help and his fear of death. The body, or at least what remains of it, no longer seems to be connected to consciousness. The woman who appeared to be just a servant steps in. She transforms her arm into a blade of flesh and cuts off the young master's head to put an end to his suffering. At least, that's what it looked like. The woman's expression changes completely. She seems to have taken pleasure in cutting off the young master's head, as evidenced by her smile as she wipes the blood from her blade. She announces that the previous match has just ended, and the next match will begin immediately. After the announcement, the cat girl volunteered. As she stepped toward the center of the arena, an abomination, a muddy-looking mass of flesh, appeared before her. The abomination screams for help. As she looks more closely, the cat girl freezes, and she's not the only one. The entire crowd at the arena is in shock. He was wondering what kind of monster is that. Some people found it disgusting. As he looked at the monster in front of him, Su Chen noticed something. Or rather, he noticed some familiar faces. Su Chen didn't expect to see those two still alive. They are the heads of two brothers, Hetu and He Huo. They are the former captains of the Low Enforcement, glued onto the mass of flesh. Thanks to Liberty City's top-tier genetic modification technology, their strength is now 100 times greater than before. That's what they claim. But what shocks the girl the most is the lower half of the abomination's body. The two beast folks that she was trying to save, engulfed by the abomination, with only their faces visible. Seeing the motionless cat girl, the abomination decides to attack. Can't bear to kill your own kind. Then why not become part of us instead? Said the abomination. Before the abomination has time to get close to the cat girl, she closes the distance with a devastating attack, slicing the abomination in two. Don't worry, I'll personally send you both to the afterlife. The cat girl responds to their provocation, but it's far from over. Even after the abomination abomination has been cut in half, it grows back together as if nothing had happened. But it doesn't really matter to her. If she can't cut them down, then she'll just crush them into meat paste. She uses her ability to trap the abomination inside a cube, then compresses it to destroy it. But something unexpected happens. Something is escaping from the cube. Even after being crushed into pulp, the abomination still won't die. The thing that escaped from the cube takes shape and wraps itself around the cat girl. The abomination's tenacity surprises even the audience. The abomination seems immortal, impossible to kill. The audience is wondering how they're supposed to fight this monster. This is way too creepy. It regenerated even after being split in half. It's basically an unbeatable monster. It's not just the audience that found the abomination's absurd abilities frightening. Chin Man is questioning whether the pharmacy department's genetic modification and ability drugs really become this terrifying. General Wang Qinghai, for his part, is primarily concerned with the price that must be paid for such a result. The woman with green hair goes to see General Li Taotian and gives her report. General, this is the latest mutant drug. Not only does it modify body cells and raise the upper limit of abilities, it also grants regenerative and shape-shifting abilities from mutant beasts, making the user nearly immortal. The drawback, however, is a drastically shortened lifespan. And just now, after the test subjects devoured ability users, they seemed capable of forcefully extending their lives and slowing their deterioration. Therefore, this battle may be the key to breaking through the technical bottleneck. After hearing the report, General Li Totian is more than satisfied. Excellent. He asks the woman to record all data related to the experiment. And that's not all. He can't wait to inject himself with this drug. In the arena, the situation changes. The cat girl seems to be trapped. The abomination is about to devour her completely to achieve the final evolution. According to the abomination, this will allow it not only to achieve its ultimate evolution, but also to become unstoppable. Without warning, the abomination lunges forward to devour the cat girl. At that very moment, an unidentified object also flies toward them at full speed, engulfing the abomination and preventing it from reaching its target. The monster had disappeared. Only the flying object was visible. That object was Su Chen's cloak. This represents a major loss for the pharmacy department. The test subject vanished, meaning all their drug improvements and experiments were wasted. General Li Taotian was furious. After so many sacrifices, he could not accept such a loss. Where did you hide the He brothers? Hand them over immediately. General Li Taotian yells at Su Chen. Su Chen calmly replies that that kind of monster obviously belongs in hell. The truth is that Su Chen used the cloak to block everyone's vision and teleported the monster into his dimensional space. Otherwise, the consequences would have been unimaginable. But the general isn't buying it. This time, he's the one shouting that it's cheating. Cut the crap! That's cheating and breaking the rules! As General Li Taotian loses control, Su Chen has had enough of the nonsense and decides to attack the general directly. He provokes him, challenging him to fight him one-on-one. Thank you for watching. If you liked the video, don't forget to like it and subscribe. Have a nice day.